All right, man. Just go on back here so my partner can give you your written warning.
Hello, this is Jason Matthews. I am a recently retired law enforcement officer. I was also a use of force instructor and a taser instructor during my career. And in this video, I'm going to be commenting on this public domain video that was released out of Florida. I'll be giving you my perspective based on my training and experience of what I might be thinking if I was in this officer's shoes, what actions I might consider, and also giving you some information that the general public doesn't know about law enforcement. I don't know the details of this incident, and this is all hypothetical. Being a body camera is a limited, static view of the incident. I'm just reacting to what I'm seeing while watching in real time, just like you. But before we get started, if you support the police, click the like button. And if you do not support the police, click the dislike button. It's anonymous. I'm just curious of where you stand. Okay, let's get started. It appears right now we see a traffic stop. An officer has approached on the driver's side of the vehicle, and it appears to me that this incident has been ongoing for quite some time because he says that he's going to give her a written warning. Now, what is a written warning? A written warning, it depends on the jurisdiction, but in many jurisdictions, officers are allowed to give what is called a written warning, and it could be for a variety of different circumstances. Now, if it's generally a serious issue, then in most jurisdictions, an officer is not allowed to give a written warning. It needs to be for something minor, a minor offense. So let's continue on. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Is the car registered to you?
Yeah.
Okay, just come on back to the front of this car. Just keep your hands out of your pocket. No weapons, right? Touch down, just make sure.
So what we're seeing now is an officer appears to be searching an individual in front of his vehicle. And one thing I see that I wouldn't personally do, it appears that we have an individual who he stated he was going to give a written warning to is behind a second individual who's being searched, watching that search happening. It's not necessarily an issue that one individual who's watching another person getting searched, but just for safety reasons and to not complicate the issue, I would personally, if I was in an officer's shoes, I would not allow a second individual to watch a first individual, in this case, being searched. And my line of thinking on that is it just complicates the general situation. In my experience, when that has happened before, people can start arguing and the situation can get out of control, or they can just block view of what's going on, or they can just generally complicate the situation, and the situation can, in certain circumstances, spin out of control. So I would prefer that second individual would just be in a different location.
Step over here, right there. Put your hands behind your back. Do it now. What do you do? He just dropped a bag. It looks like dope.
Did you hear what he said? He said he dropped a bag and it looks like dope. And when he was searching the individual, another officer, it appears, was watching the search. And he observed what appeared to be what he states as dope. What is dope? Dope could be, it's generally associated with marijuana, but it could be a general term for all illegal drugs. Dope. This is just something that officers say amongst themselves is dope. It's just a word that is generally used by officers to identify, generally speaking, drugs, illegal drugs.
Oh, man. I'm going to step over here.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
So what they did is they have put this individual in restraints, and it appears that they believe that the individual dropped dope while they were searching him. So 2 reasons they would put him in handcuffs. Number one is they're probably going to arrest him for that, what they refer to as dope. And the second reason is if they believe that he dropped that dope that they referred to, then they want to put his hands behind his back so he cannot further try to evade the search that is going on. So they're going to continue to search him, I assume. And that means that he's in a position where he cannot resist the search further.
Yeah. All right.
As you see, one officer just pointed to something on the ground that he referred to as dope. It looked like a white baggie.
You're obviously not free to go.
Now we have the officer says, obviously you are not free to go. What does free to go really mean? Free to go is basically what it seems to be. Means that an individual is being held and they're not free to leave. They're not free to go. This is a legal term, free to go. And so the officer is conveying to the individual that basically they're being held there against their will. And so a lot of people in the general public don't understand what this term is, free to go, even though it sounds obvious. So I'm just explaining what that term means.
I can tell you, it came out of you. It's all on camera. I mean,
now many of you know I've referenced this, and I'll probably do a video in the future about why I'm against body cameras generally. But in this circumstance, a body camera has been used to film something that the officer believes has happened, which is the individual dropped what he referred to as dope. So it seems that the body camera had caught that in its view. So this is one positive that I would register for law enforcement in this circumstance.
whatever. You might as well try to lie. You ain't got nothing to lose. Got anything else shoved up on you? We're going to have to check that, but based on my training and experience, like we both, I can already tell what it is.
Did you hear what he said? He said, based on my training and experience. Generally, that's a legal phrase. He's not just saying that for no reason. Based on training and experience holds weight in court with a judge. So an officer might say, based on my training and experience, I identified that substance as cocaine or whatever the case may be. And so what they're basically saying is, I was trained to identify that either at an academy or a training course or a drug course or in my line of work, and I have experience identifying that. So for example, if I, over 10 years, my experience is that when I tested a certain substance and I observed it and it tested positive for cocaine, based on my experience now over all those intervals of all the times that it tested positive and it looked in a certain way, I can now say I can identify that substance. I can identify it just by looking at it.
Walk this way.
Now, what normally happens, he's saying he can identify that substance based on his training and experience. I personally would not trust that. And really what's going to happen is they're going to test that substance anyway, more than likely. I can't believe that they would just base that off of training and experience, because that would not hold a heavy weight in a court of law. However, what's going to probably happen is they'll get back to the station or they're on scene, and they will test any substance that is obtained just to verify that that is what it is. They'll send it away to a lab more than likely, but what will normally happen is a normal officer will identify what he believes to be, on his training experience, a certain substance. And then there is something called, I know it by what is called a NIC kit, N-I-K. It is a type of on-scene test where a small amount of said substance can be placed into this test kit, and then it can be confirmed that it is that substance or is not that substance. That's what I would normally do, and that's probably what most officers would normally do.
All right. Hop in. You didn't see anything come out the car or nothing further down?
No.
All right. Just making sure. Yeah, I mean, it could break my heart to go over them again.
Okay, yeah, because there's only 8.5 there.
So at the end there, we just saw the officers speaking about the incident. And that does it for this video. If you enjoyed it, go click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Take care, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.